see her as the main rival for gold this evening?
Yeah, Diane has a lot of experience with this distance. When Shelly broke the world record, she took it out very hard from the gun and just stopped everyone from the pack. But I think the weather conditions are going to make it a little bit more tactical. It's quite interesting watching the race. They've actually starting off the track. It looks like all the girls have asked to start in a straight line rather than starting on the bend and having to hit the compensators while they're trying to get going, because the weather conditions do mean that it'll be a little bit slippery on the push rims. So Sammy Kinghorn on the outside is quite unusual to see them start this far out, but the straight line is quite important.
She's started to train with David Weir now, Shelley, hasn't she? And she travels between Blackpool and Richmond and has gone to Jenny Archer, obviously. Have you seen a change in her racing, a change in her attitude since she's gone to the academy?
It's been pretty tough on her. Pete Wyman, who's the coach that took her to the world record, they split up not long afterwards, and she's been through a few different variations. But actually what she needs is to learn to sprint starts and to come through strong at the end. And the best person for her is Dave. It's a lot of travelling for her, but I think we are going to see the benefits of that.
Let's see if it reaps its rewards this evening. Steve Cram is your commentator.
That's Angela Ballard from Australia, Paralympic medalist, more of a sprinter. Well, really good home interest here. Lauren Rowles of England, and we've already seen Sammy Kinghorn and Megan Dawson-Farrell for Scotland. Forger of Ghana. It's going to be interesting in these conditions. Once we get going, I'll bring Tanny in, but it really is chucking it down, as we'd say. Christy Dawes is going to be a threat here, the Australian. Third in the Paralympic Games in London in the 5,000 metres. Mohammed of Ghana. And then I'm sure there's going to be a very big cheer for the two athletes on the inside. Shelley Woods, there she is, about to be introduced to the crowd. T54 and T53 athletes together here. T53 completely paralysed, the waist down. And this is Jade Jones, 18-year-old, and I'm sure Tanny's going to be pretty nervous watching Jade, because Tanny and her husband Ian guiding Jade through her career, Middlesbrough girl. The one I haven't really mentioned is Diane Roy, the defending champion, 43 years of age, from Canada, in between Sammy Kinghorn and Megan Dawson-Farrell. Right on the outside there, as Tanny was saying, lining up on the blue strip outside the track, just so they can all line up together here. Tricky conditions. T54 1500m final. Jade Jones and Shelley Woods right on the inside, and Shelley Woods already just moving out a little bit, doesn't want to be trapped too much on the inside as they come across. Diane Roy will be right on the outside, and Christy Dawes and her teammate Angie Ballard of Australia very much to the fore straight away. That's Sammy Kinghorn, really interesting story for Sammy. In terrible accident where snow fell on the roof. She was helping her father out clear the snow away, paralysed at the age of 14, went to Stoke Mandeville, took up wheelchair racing, and now representing her country just 4 years later here in the Commonwealth Games. So she's going to be loving this, not loving the conditions, I'm sure. Dawson-Farrell right on the outside of her, and they're tucked in behind our lead trio here. Shelley Woods a little further back, Tanny.
Yeah, you can see how much water there is on the track and how much spray is coming up into Christy Dawes' face, and that makes it quite hard if you're sitting 2 or 3 athletes back, because you're getting spray from the front wheels and the back wheels. And the weather forecast did say it was going to be raining today, but I think a lot of the women were looking and hoping that it might be dry, because the rubber that the women use on the push rims and then on the gloves needs quite a lot of ski glue in this weather. So on the first couple of pushes, you saw Jade Jones on the inside, she was slipping. And it does make it quite hard to kick and to push. So really this race is about who's got the most grip in these weather conditions.
Shelley Woods right towards the back on the outside, Sammy Kinghorn towards the back as well, but at the front, Roy just having a look between her arms just to see what's happening behind, and she can see Dawson-Farrell of Scotland right on her shoulder. Behind her, Christy Dawes and Angie Ballard of Australia. Ballard on the inside, Jade Jones just looking for where Shelley Woods is placing herself as they come round now with 2 laps to go, and it's a slow tactical affair here. Nobody really trying to push away in these tricky conditions. Roy controlling it at the moment. Tanny, is that where you think she should be? Is Shelley Woods close enough?
Deanne Roy's in a perfect position in terms of controlling it, because if you're trying to sprint from behind and you're coming out a lane, you're having to push at least 3.5 meters further. And by the time the sprint kicks to the back of the pack, it's a bit like bike racing. It's almost too late. But Shelly Woods is now coming in on the outside. She's coming really wide, but trying to stay out of trouble. And really pleased to see Jade Jones making a slight move here. She doesn't want to be caught in the middle of the pack. Christy Dawes is just sitting on Deanne Roy's shoulder. She's a real grafter. She won a bronze in Beijing. She maybe hasn't had some of the success on the track we would have expected, but it's so hard for these women right now. They're all watching each other, and I think it's going to be about who's going to be brave and who's going to take it out early. But Deanne Roy started to kick a little bit now, picking up the pace and making it work, making it really hard on the rest of the pack.
Come round to take the bell. Shelly Woods still a long way back. And it's Jade Jones who's in the best position at the moment. Roy in the front, Ballard on the inside. Christy Dawes, a teammate, behind her. Then it's the youngster, Jade Jones. And now Roy from the front, pushing hard. And Shelly Woods is a long way off the pace here. And it's Ballard who's tucked in behind the Canadian. Down the back straight. And they're all completely spread out as Roy is pushed on from the front and has really stretched them out here. And Jade Jones into third place and has still got an opportunity. So Roy at the front, the veteran of the field. Sitting behind her is Ballard of Australia. And Jones isn't far behind and maybe can find a little bit extra here, but Roy still pushing hard. Ballard moves out. Has she got the pace at the end? It's going to be a really tight finish here. And the Australian might just about do it. It's going to be gold for Australia. Roy has to settle for the second spot. And an excellent bronze for Jones. 3:59 the winning time, and it was all about tactics, being patient, difficult conditions. Roy did so much of the work. Jade Jones just kept herself in a good position all along. Shelly Woods will be so disappointed with her performance here today, I'm sure. Never really in it, never really close enough, and when it got going, Jones was just about in the right spot. Didn't quite have the power of the other two ahead of her. She's only 18 years of age, but that's a bronze medal for Jade Jones of England. Well done to Ballard, perfectly judged, well timed. Great race from her and a great smile. Gold to Australia. So Tanny, you must be really proud of Jade Jones then. Just for a moment, you thought she might get close enough to maybe nick this.
I did. I mean, she was finishing really strongly, but probably just didn't have quite enough response when the kick was made. But very smart racing from Angie Ballard. This is by far the best race of her entire career. She's actually a T53 athlete, so doesn't have stomach muscles or lower back, but sat behind Deanne Roy and just waited for that final sprint. And I think there'll be a lot of very surprised women. I don't think anybody expected that Angie Ballard was going to win this race tonight. And if you look at her there, she's just sort of tucking in behind Deanne, pulls out with perfect timing. And once you get level, you know that you're going faster. She's probably hitting about 34, 35 kilometres an hour on the track at the moment. And Deanne Roy just has nothing left to give. She looks up and you can see she takes ahead. She's done.
Well, Deanne Roy was the one who tried to control it from the front, but just ran out of steam at the end. Not enough, quite enough power. Ballard, head down, pushing hard. Jade Jones all the way to the line. And surely more to come from the young 18-year-old as her career develops. Excellent bronze medal, but congratulations to Ballard. Perfect timing and a shake of the head from Roy. But let's talk to the bronze medalist from England, Jade Jones. She's with Phil.
And Steve, a very delighted bronze medalist in Jade Jones at the age of 18. This is meant to be a building block for you, and here you are with a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, it was really unexpected. It's my first senior medal, so it's so great to do it on a home crowd, you know, home stadium, so it was really good.
Just how difficult were conditions for you?
They're really tough. I mean, the rain affects us a lot. We slip a lot, but I pushed quite well in the rain, so it went really well.
And when did you realise that a medal was within your grasp?
I didn't until I crossed the line. I was just kind of kept going and going for the line, you know. So and it doesn't really sink in, and you know it still hasn't. So.
And within the maelstrom of it all going on and the noise, you could hear the cacophony of noise in here.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Oh, it's incredible. It follows you around the stadium and just kind of keeps you going. So it's really, really good.
And are you able to keep your focus in that kind of environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but you know, you can keep your focus, and I think it's so good having that kind of support. We never really get that in Paralympic events, so it's really amazing experience just to be here.
So here you go with a bronze medal. I mean, what does this mean for you going forward now? Because obviously we know you've got so much potential, but as you said to me only the other day, it's usually your late 20s when you're peaking.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, it's a really good building block for me to progress from. You know, these kind of events are a lot different to any normal track meet, so you know, the tactics and things are a lot different. So it's good to know that I'm kind of progressing in that sense. So you know, it's good to progress from that.
Oh, fantastic performance! Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Yes, well done indeed. It's been good games for the North East, hasn't it? A silver from Northumberland, and now Teesside getting in on the act. Jade Jones of Middlesbrough, bronze medal. Times not so important, of course, in these conditions. Deanne Roy of Canada, a brave silver medal, and the surprise winner, Angela Ballard of Australia, taking the gold.
Well, we can rely on Steve to be on Northeast watch, but we can also add a little bit of Wales, I think, into that medal, because Tanny, you were actually racing that here in the studio because you have a huge vested interest there as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's really painful. I mean, I think I was more nervous before the race than Jade was. I felt like I was pushing every single push with her. I'm glad I didn't have my heart rate on because it was about 190, and I can breathe now, so it's really good. I'm really proud of her. You know, she had a really smart tactical race, and you know, it's a big step up. You know, Deanne Roy's been racing for a lot of years. Angie Ballard, world champion at the 100 back in 2002, has never really lived up to that, but yeah. It's good. It's tough when you're sitting here and trying to do an objective commentary when you're so close to one of the persons in there.
You achieved it. You achieved it, and you've achieved that medal with her as well, and that will be such a great boost for her going forwards, I know. And her enthusiasm and her delight in that medal was just seeping through the screen there. It was wonderful.